Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video here today and some more F1 2020 game news. And this is a trailer of the brand new Vietnam Grand Prix circuit at Hanoi. So we're going to jump into it in just a second. The video was uploaded to F1's official YouTube channel and also the F1 game YouTube channel. And this is the first look we've got of this brand new circuit. I have driven it in Assetto Corsa in previous videos with AI and also by myself. If you haven't seen it guys, I'll leave a link up here to those videos because I had a pretty good idea of how the track was and, you know, what I expected, but this trailer has actually thrown me off a bit, and it seems like the actual final version is quite a bit different to what I've actually experienced. Also, guys, just one thing before we move on, I do cover and, you know, give you guys all the latest breaking news on F1 2020, so if you want to get subscribed for that, guys, and hopefully on day one, I'll be on the game straight away for content. If you want to get subscribed, guys, there'll be a link down below. Hopefully you do it and support the channel, but now let's jump into this actual hot lap. So let's get a couple of things out of the way first on the analysis. So fact number one, this is being driven by somebody. This is not an AI or a computer lap. This is someone driving this, because there's certain elements or certain corner cuts where you can see, or apexes missed, should we say, where you can tell it's a person driving, not an AI. Second thing I want to mention, as you can see at the top of the screen, we do have work in progress, car designs not final. So again, for all you guys who say that isn't the Ferrari, because again, most people don't actually watch the video or, you know, like bother to actually research, and they just kind of put a comment in anger straight away. This is not the final car model. We did see the official 2020 Ferrari in some screenshots the other day around Monaco. If you haven't seen those, guys, I'll leave a link up here to that video. It was a really, really nice one to see how the actual 2020 Ferrari looks, and you can see the difference compared to this car, which is actually the FOM generic multiplayer car. But now let's talk about the lap. So overall for me, I wasn't a fan of this lap too much, and I think it gives a false impression of what the circuit could actually be like. I feel like with the gameplay we've seen of F1 2020 so far, the cars are much faster in this year's game compared to last year. They've got a lot more downforce, and it doesn't really get shown that much on this. Again, because the person's driving this and not the computer, I feel like there's a lot of time left on the table. Maybe setup-wise, it just doesn't look very fast, even through the medium to high-speed corners. For example, the end of the lap where all the S's are, you can go so much quicker through there, I feel like, and it's just kind of very slow and specific. And also in the first part of the lap through turn number 2. But generally speaking, I think this track has potential, and I do like the way it looks in terms of the location. Of course, it is in Hanoi, in the city, and there's a nice bit of track detailing going on. And to be fair, from when I drove the track on Assetto Corsa, it was quite different, but I did quite enjoy it. I will admit, for real life racing, I really see this track as I'm not a fan for real life. I think F1 cars are going to really struggle around here to get some overtaking. But let's jump to a few interesting things I noticed. So, for example, the pit straight actually is very surprising because the walls are actually on the right hand side. They're pretty much where the white line is. Normally you get a bit of runoff area like Baku, for example, but this is very Monaco-esque in a way. So the wall is right there on the right hand side and there is no runoff, so it actually makes for quite a narrow pit straight. And if you're going up 3 wide, there's no parts where you can run off the track or get squeezed off. If you get squeezed, you're going straight into the wall. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out in terms of racing, in terms of a concept, both online leagues and also just general F1 gameplay as a whole. I really like Turn 2. Turn 2 reminds me of Russia, which is Turn 3, but the other way around. So this time you're going to the right, you've got the grandstand to the left all the way through. And again, this is a corner where at full speed, it feels like there's a lot more time to be found, possibly with getting the line right, having a correct setup on. And obviously, let's say an esports driver driving the car, I think you need to find a lot more time. I like this complex. It goes for a little left chicane, and then it kicks out onto the first of, you could say 3 straights, if you include the pit straight. But this is the first of 2 big straights, and I think this would be a DRS zone. Looking at the steering wheel, no light flashes up on the left hand side, so that indicates to me there won't be DRS on this back straight, which is a shame because again most tracks have 3 DRS zones now. So unfortunately that's not going to happen. But a good overtaking opportunity. It's a nice long straight down into this hairpin section, which is very, very tricky. And this was one where I noticed the curbs are very different around this track as a whole. These curbs look very unique for an F1 game because Cody's have pretty much copy and paste the same kind of curbs around every single track, and they can be a bit inconsistent. But there's a lot of flat curbs here, or very skinny curbs. Like for example, into this section now, we're going to the Mickey Mouse kind of hairpin. These curbs are really, really little, and actually, I hope strict corner cutting is correctly applied to some of these because you can definitely cut this a little bit, as you can see in the hot lap, the guy cuts both of these apexes. So yeah, moving on, the apex is actually quite tricky because you kind of take a late apex through the hairpin, and when I've driven this one, I could never quite get the line right. There's a million different lines you could take through this kind of complex, from entry on the back straight onto the really long back straight that follows it after that. So that entire hairpin complex is very unique, and I'd love to see what kind of variations we see in terms of racing line from various people, whether it be real-life drivers, in the virtual GPs, or esports drivers, or just us content creators, or you guys in like F1 open lobbies. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out. Then we've got an absolute mammoth, a mammoth of a back straight. It's so damn long, it just goes on forever and ever and ever. There is a bit of a curve in it, but it's one of the longer straights, and so we're going to hit, obviously, your top speed, your speed trap, and then we make our way down towards the hairpin, really heavy brake zone, and it's actually quite interesting because the brake marker boards, they're on the right-hand side, so you want to, I'm guessing, brake around the 100, probably, possibly the 50, because this year the braking distance has been reduced a lot in this game, according to, people that have tested the game in videos that we've seen. Hairpin, nothing really surprising here, just a box down a hairpin. And then we enter the final sector, the final part of the lap, and this was really, really good fun when I drove it. It seems to be a bit different on the game. So the first part is exactly how I experienced. You kind of turn right, you go into a couple kinks, but it's still mostly straight, and then you go into this first left, and it's very, very kind of flowy and very setup dependent, and you've got to really be dialed in and have the momentum with you to get this section right. It kind of reminds me of, rather than the USA S's or Silverstone, it reminds me more of the Mexico S's a bit more. So they're a little bit more complex because you need to get the line absolutely spot on and get that momentum where the car kind of slides through. So the one that's different to me is this one. So the first of the right-handers is actually a lot more longer as a corner. It goes on for a lot longer, and you have to kind of take off a lot more speed, and then it opens up the left. And it's actually a bridge straight going underneath the bridge. So that's different to what I've driven on Assetto Corsa, so that's going to be a bit of an adaptation. And then into the final part of the lap, of course, originally we had a different layout for the final corner. That's now been changed, and it's kind of like a hairpin that goes into a bit of a kink. And yeah, pretty much that is the lap. So I like the circuit. I think it's quite interesting. I doubt it would work in real life, but game-wise, I think it could make it for an interesting racing. The pit straight, the 2 back straights will be key for overtaking. And of course, with Dirty not being so heavy in the F1 games, we can follow through the S section. So I thought it's going to be quite interesting, and the walls being very close to the track is also a very unique feature. But guys, that is going to be where I end it on this kind of track analysis. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, guys, in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, smash the like button and also subscribe, like I said before, for the latest breaking news on F1 2020, as I'll be all over that content, guys. And yeah, also check out the 2 videos on your screen right now if you have not seen them, guys, or if you have missed them. I do recommend you go check it out. There could be some content you might enjoy. But guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm now going to go edit this video, and I'll see you all later on.